Now, chapter 14 is entitled Informative Speech. This is a huge chapter, but it is a culmination of literally everything we've covered in a one chapter. So this is just going straight down the book. This is not complicated stuff. It's literally everything we've covered, and it's smashing it all together. So when you're coming up with your topic, we've already discussed this. And in each individual video, we've discussed this. This video is just going to be a big culmination of literally everything. So, what's the first thing you do? You obviously already have your idea. So you have your idea. You've done your outline. You have your points. The first thing you want to do is you understand who you're talking to. You want to understand your audience. Because remember, someone from New York City is going to understand or perceive things in a different way than someone else from down in the rural South. This has nothing to do with educational background or one's intelligence, just the way people grew up in those two different regional areas, the culture that they live in, completely different. So the way they perceive certain things is going to matter, and it's going to differ from region to region. So the first thing you need to account for is who you're talking to, because they're your audience. At the end of the day, it doesn't matter if you understand it, they need to understand it. That's the priority. So once you understand your audience, you have your topic. You've already done your outline. You have all of your points. From that, and because you did your outline, it's much easier to construct the speech because those ideas are already written down on paper. You have the main point. You've already done the hardest part. So you've created a working outline, and then you have your speech. You construct the main points. You bring in your supporting materials, so your outside credible sources, and you then do your introduction and your conclusion. Once you've done that within your outline, that's the hardest part. The introduction, because that has the main premise of the speech. You make sure you throw in your hook. Remember what the hook is? It's something that grabs the audience's attention emotionally, whatever. It could be funny, it could be sad, it could be a story, anything. You just want to grab the audience's attention in the beginning. So you have them. You have them hooked. All eyes and ears are on you. That's what you want. So you have your introduction, your conclusion, you summarize things up, you crystallize certain points at the end, you rehash everything to make sure the audience understands it. Once the outline is done, you're ready to actually construct the informative speech. Once the speech has been written, all the main points are down, your subpoints, your credible sources, you then want to make sure you practice. And when you practice, you want to make sure that your delivery is good, you are articulating your words well, you are also speaking loud enough so everyone in the audience can hear you. Remember what I talked about in terms of presentation. You know, you want to look at everyone in the room, but you don't want to completely turn. So if you turn this way, this side of the audience can't really hear you as well as this side. So when you're doing it, you can still look at everyone. You're just not moving your head and messing, the equilibrium of the sound in the room. Again, make sure your delivery is good. You're being professional. You're standing up straight. You're keeping your hands, remember, within the box. So from your shoulders to your chest, your hands are here. You don't want to be conducting just a nice smooth, when you're hammering a point, you can hit your fist. Different hand gestures do mean different things. You don't want to be doing it too much. You don't want to be out here because that's distracting. Be conservative with it. Be gentle. Hand gestures, help convey what you're trying to say. Through emotion. If you're excited about something, you want to hammer a point in. Makes the audience feel relaxed. You're more of in a natural state. You don't look natural if your hands are by your side. And for an informative speech, you're trying to inform your audience. You're trying to make them learn. So you don't want them to be distracted. Then in terms of presentation aids, remember, I wasn't a huge fan with it, but I mean, you can use it. Just make sure that you are still using all of the proper parts of the speech. Just because you're using presentation aids, it does not mean that it is an exception to the rules. You still need an introduction, a hook, a conclusion, the main points, subpoints, critical sources, everything. So just because you're using presentation aids does not mean that it is an exception to the rule. So again, once you've got your outline, once you understand who you're talking to, you've already done the hardest part. You just need to make your speech, be confident with it too. And if you do all of those things, I promise you your speech will be exceptional and your audience will walk away with having, more knowledge than they had before.